We have just driven round for about 16 miles to find this place, and it's amazing. So,
shout out to Google.
This is our shout out to Google searches. But this is our final destination today. We've just met the most lovely local man who's been chatting away to us. He grew up. He was telling us when he was a boy that they used to come down here and climb up the chute up to the top. This is the infamous Little St Mary's Church, or otherwise known as Cold Christmas Church. Now, you just need to Google this and you'll find that it's haunted. We've not done any reading at all on what it's haunted with, and the reason we've not done that is because I want to see for myself if anything's going to happen. It's amazing. It's an absolutely amazing place. So if you have a look, basically everything is relocated now. They've left all of these graves here and they've rebuilt a new church up in the new village, and this has just basically been left to rack and ruin. We found this because clearly lots of professional paranormal people have been down here and done investigations and clearly had some really good results. And yet we appreciate we're not out at night time, but parenting comes first always. So here we are, and I think what we do is we just take a really slow wander around and we look at how many graves are here.
There's loads, isn't there?
Yeah, I don't know why the village or the church is called Cold Christmas Church. The village is called Cold Christmas, or the road is at least. There is a legend that says that hundreds of years ago lots of local children died of hypothermia and are buried in this church. I don't know if that's true. It'd probably be worth us doing a little bit of research to see if any local historians have looked into it.
I would have thought that because of how remote, I mean, it doesn't seem remote now, does it? Because the village is building up around it.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that back. What the bloody hell is that?
Anyway.
But sorry.
So I think, because obviously we can't get inside the tower anymore. They recently sealed it all shut, and I would imagine that was for safety. It's obviously incredibly old. They've sealed the doors. You can't get inside the tower.
Yep.
I think if we're going to do an investigation, maybe that's where we should start.
I agree. Wholeheartedly. We should go and hang around
And
outside and see what we can see and find.
And then maybe we can walk around the gravestones and just see if anybody wants to answer.
Yeah?
Sound good?
Yeah, great.
Reading somewhere that they believe the church is built on a crossover of the north-south ley lines, which is meant to be very, very bad and obviously fuels the energy.
Isn't it quite close to the river as well? There's a river near here, isn't there? Through there
the
somewhere.
Ebb, isn't it? The River Ebb just literally runs right next to it.
Looks a bit excited then.
It was going as soon as I started it. Is there anybody here? That was very strange.
Well, as you took it out of your pocket.
Somebody stood next to me.
Yeah.
I feel just here, ice cold.
Okay.
Put your hand there just so that you can get a feel.
Oh, I've got my gloves on.
You need to take your gloves off.
Oh, come on.
Otherwise you can't feel it.
Okay. Oh yeah, there does seem to be a temperature change.
There is.
Sorry if I'm striking the head of someone.
If you're here, can you light those lights up again? Feels like being watched.
Oh, that's quite weird. It felt like somebody was stood behind us then, but there's a solid wall here.
And ice cold again. Thank you very much.
Oh, you got a really positive answer then.
Thank you. I don't want to sort of like go on
It's
about
actually
it,
on.
but that last coldness on my hand
Yep.
is one of the most strangest experiences I've had in my life. I just knew it was going to do it.
It's quite random.
It feels like somebody small.
Okay.
I don't feel scared.
Okay.
There's no like, I don't feel particularly frightened of, you know if it was something more scary.
Mhm. Joseph. I heard it say Joseph. Wow, that was a very dark voice. She's going to be annoyed with my calls.
This place is different, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's got a real different feel about
I mean,
it.
I know I constantly moan about it and stuff, but I really just wish other people wouldn't have a life and couldn't go out and walk their dogs. You know, it's taken a fair bit of finding to get here in the first place, and you know, they're pushing my limits to try and style it out. You know, yeah, we're here just taking photos or admiring, I mean, which we are doing, I admit. It's here.
What did I say?
Not sure.
I thought it said river.
Oh, that's an illness.
That was a child's voice, wasn't it?
Yeah. Were you all part of the same family?
Yes.
How comes you all passed away so close together?
Just an illness.
That's strange.
Mary, could you come and talk to us, please?
I'm heading to these
Such
two.
a confusing face, isn't it? That's the problem. Just a church.
What's the names on these two graves? How old were you when you died?
Such a busy place.
It
isn't
is. So it's getting to the time where we probably need to start thinking about heading home and going back to our parental Oh, don't do the sad face, Mr. Lack. Got to go back and like do our parental thing that we do. But before we go, I can honestly say that earlier on with that whole my hand going cold and then the response on the K2 is probably the best thing in terms of evidence for me personally that I feel we've ever got. Okay, we've said we're going to go about 3 or 4 times, but this place just keeps pulling you back and pulling you back. And as we believe in, we have just found a whole row of young people's graves. So I'm really desperate now to go and do a bit of research, see if there's anything. There must be a local historian that may have looked at this place and got some information. I am a human being. That made me quite sad seeing so many young children. And then it all went a little bit crazy and haywire, really, didn't it? It's like too many voices coming through the box.
Yeah, it's same as St Mary's in Clopper, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you
got
get
a little
5
bit
or 10
crazy.
different voices.
But I can honestly say, if like us, you just like can explore. This is a absolute tick must do. Come along and have a look. You do have to be careful. There's a footpath literally just over there, and we've had about 6 or 7 people out walking their dogs, and we've done an amazing job of doing our usual styling it out. You know, the amount of photos I've just taken is shocking, trying to look like I'm taking photos rather than ghost hunting. It's amazing. I love it. What do you think?
Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Come back?
Yeah.
This is a comeback, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Put on a list of need tos.
Definite comeback. We'll be back again then. Thank
Let's
you
do
for
it again.
watching.
Thank you.
The old Little St Mary's Church in Thunderidge, otherwise known as Cold Christmas Church, dates back to around 1086. The church has sat nestled in the Rib Valley for nearly 1,000 years. In the mid-19th century, the villagers began to move away from the valley and resettle nearby. A new church was built in that village, and this little treasure was left abandoned. Some of the materials were removed to build a new church, leaving the tower and the graves, of which there are many, sitting quietly in the valley. Cold Christmas Church sits alone by the River Ebb, barely visible to passing traffic, yet this stunning yet eerie place has somewhere accumulated a number of stories and legends. The name Cold Christmas relates to a story passed down from generation to generation of a bitterly cold Christmas, during which many children died, and they are said to be buried at the church. We are looking forward to researching this to see if there is any truth to this legend. Another interesting story relates to the positioning of the church being built on an incorrect north-south alignment, and as such it has a history of attracting devil worshippers. The problem had become so serious that consideration was given into the feasibility to knock the tower down and remove the graves. Luckily for us, red tape meant this couldn't happen. Cold Christmas Church is known for its ghost stories, and one such story is that of a woman in 1978 who, whilst walking through the grounds of the church, was confronted by an army marching from the door of the tower, who then proceeded to march straight through her. There are many, many stories attached to this beautiful yet foreboding setting, and we feel lucky to have had the privilege to be able to experience what we did. If you do plan a visit, please treat it with respect, as once places like this have gone, they are gone forever.